Step into any school classroom and you'll quickly understand why attracting millennials can be so challenging for conferences that continue to structure their education the same way year after year. From a young age, children sit in work circles where groupthink and collaborative problem solving are encouraged. That mentality becomes the expected norm as they transition into their working life. And whether your meeting attracts a younger participant base now or not, there's no question, these are your attendees of the future. Just as attendee demand has driven business event designers to think more strategically about the meeting experience as a whole, attendee behavior is shifting the way we think about how educational content should be delivered. Curating the most relevant content and contracting the best speakers isn't enough if the information is merely programmed for passive consumption. Today's learners of all generations seek more collaborative, hands-on learning experiences versus a traditional lecture. They have shorter attention spans and crave multisensory experiences. They seek out opportunities to contribute to the conversation and quickly tune out when they're simply talked at. To deliver on learning outcomes, event professionals must design educational environments to foster the collaboration that will, in turn, commit that content to memory, and most importantly, action. Experimenting with room sets and session formats, how presenters interact with each other and the audience to break down barriers and create dialogue, and offering bite-sized learning opportunities are all smart places to start. And your convention center can be a valuable resource to make it happen.
We want to give our customers the most options they have to do and create unique environments. It's just not the schoolroom table and the black meeting room chair any longer. It's couches, it's different types of chairs, different type of tables, high tops, a variety of different things that can create a different environment. We're seeing much more of that non-traditional set. That would include beanbags, couches, other things that can get people relaxed, but also an area where maybe the schoolroom table is still at, or the table where notes can be taken. Very much different than it had been in the past.
It was a blue sky brainstorming session stemming from a unique venue challenge that led PCMA to really think outside the ballroom for the first time at Convening Leaders 2011 in Las Vegas.
When we were in Las Vegas, the team took me into the arena, 17,000 seats. We had 3,000 people expected, and they said, "This will be our general session." And I went, "What? This can't be. We can't possibly use this." So the team took that challenge and created what is now the Learning Lounge.
The expansive space of the MGM Grand Arena may have seemed like a very big challenge in the beginning, but it presented a unique opportunity to experiment with open space learning. At the time, all Convening Leaders content outside of the general session was presented in traditional small breakout rooms. How could this extra space in the general session be used in an interesting way? To fill the room and at the same time, showcase a way for planners to educate their meeting participants differently. TED-style formats were all the rage, and planners were wondering how to incorporate short-format content into their own meetings. So, PCMA decided to try the concept in the open space within the arena to allow for quick takeaways in a more casual environment that would make it easy for participants to pop in, listen for a few moments, and move on without being disruptive if they chose to keep exploring. PCMA invested much time and energy with Freeman in strategically designing this new space.
4 factors that we take into consideration when designing a learning environment are technology, science, environment, and people. Good use of technology can really bolster the connection between the speakers and the attendees, allowing interaction even before they get on site and interaction when they're there. Science gives us insights into human behavior, helping us predict how people will react on site. Environment is so much more than how a room is set. It's everything from how the speaker interacts with the folks in the room to high-tech, low-tech, or even no-tech elements that can be integrated into the experience. And lastly, people. Having a diverse group of people in the room in their thought and backgrounds leads you to new insights and different experiences than if you're with a group of like-minded people.
In that first year, The Learning Lounge, with its intimate mini theaters and interactive learning spaces, was only open just prior to the general session and during breakfast each morning. Still, attendees couldn't get enough. The concept was wildly successful and has since been replicated by many planners with similar positive attendee feedback. But rather than simply replicate the concept the following year, PCMA continued to experiment and reinvent. And so, over the past 6 years, PCMA's approach to open space learning has evolved, entirely dependent on the space they have to work with. And just like planning for the overall meeting, each year presents a new opportunity to explore possibilities with a blank slate and learning moments. In the first few years, the Learning Lounge was created as several open learning environments within a larger room. Sound bleed was an issue that hindered the attendee experience, and participants felt disconnected from the rest of the meeting in such an expansive yet separate space. Last year in Vancouver, Convening Leaders' open space learning took on a new form, being truly open and spread out throughout the wide thoroughfares of the convention center. Participants could organically discover the various environments as they followed their own educational path, which helped with wayfaring around the convention center, and noise bleed was eliminated as the learning environments were more spread out.
Honestly, any audience can benefit from an open space learning environment. It's not just generational. Young people, old people, we all can benefit from using our open space, not just to transition from one session to another, but really engaging those groups, finding things that are exciting and interesting, and if nothing else, giving them a place to sit and have a discussion. We all crave community. It's so important for us just to be in that meeting environment. It's why we attend, quite frankly, to get face to face, to have a conversation. And it doesn't have to be huge overnight. You don't have to use every wall space, but you can start small. And then leverage the brain power truly of your community. Get people talking, and then potentially even organize them so you can report out on it. What are those best practices? What are others doing? Honestly, it's low cost, it's high impact, and you can't beat it.
Look to your overall conference objectives and content themes as a guidepost for developing unique open space learning environments. How can you extend and add to the conversations that organically unfold after more structured content? Where does it make sense to deviate from these themes for the sake of simply relevant and engaging collaboration opportunities? Where can you incorporate breaks into your agenda for participants to visit a quiet lounge where they can reflect and process what they've just learned? Or take time to stop by a wellness area for a quick chair massage or mini fitness demo to clear their mind? Don't be tempted to schedule open space learning areas with the same type of content as you would for a traditional breakout. Remember, these environments are different as they present an opportunity to work together on a project or share ideas and concepts in close proximity. Don't overschedule your agenda by filling every available time slot. While offering open space learning during breaks creates tremendous added value to your participants' registration dollar, you also don't want to overwhelm your audience. Be strategic about what you schedule. Whether it's a problem to solve, a visually captivating activity that draws attention as people walk by, or an activation you want from your attendees. And be sure to market these program enhancements well so that everyone knows how and where to interact. On site, use push notifications and beacons to alert participants about these opportunities. At Convening Leaders 2017, participants can expect all these concepts and more to make an appearance in the new Learning Lab.
Convening Leaders 2017, we've got a lot of fun in store for you, and there are some new things coming out, first of which is co-working space. Not only is it new and exciting in what others are doing, but in this environment where there's so many people working remote, when we are independent workers and we're often alone, we again crave community, and co-working space puts us all in that same location. Also new in 2017, brain dates. Kind of reinventing the one-to-one meeting, getting to talk with someone one-to-one about a similar topic that you can explore, kind of taking that conversation off the online community and into a real conversation. Brain dates is going to be an opportunity for you to schedule these meetings rather than hoping to run into someone and talk about a topic. You can actually schedule them and talk to each other. We're expanding our wellness program. It's so important when you travel to take care of yourself. And not only when you're at a meeting and in the space, but also when you're outside of the space. Incorporating, whether it's yoga or a run, or even the way you're setting up your meeting room, giving people a place to sit differently, whether that's to stand at a high table, whether that's to sit in a comfortable chair, whether that's to be around the room in comfortable standing spaces. We're definitely taking the wellness initiative serious into a new level. And my personal favorite, the design lab. This is really where it comes to life, where we can experiment with your latest floor plan, your latest room set, your latest idea. How are we going to design and reinvent the meeting space? Come to the design lab and talk to us about what you're doing and what's new and what's exciting. And in that exchange of ideas, it's an incubator for new information and sparks creativity.
What we now know about adult learning styles and attendee demand for interaction dictates we need to design more holistic event experiences around educational content with places to learn with self-paced collaborative education, places for people to connect through more organic meetups, places for people to reflect, to sit in silence and absorb what they're learning, and places to work, to respond to a few emails or take a phone call without having to leave the meeting environment. Life and work don't stop when your attendees are at your conference. Why make them choose between the two? Think about one of these questions to help enhance the educational environments at your upcoming events.